that are changing and whatnot. So I'm Neve. I'm the new Football Development Officer for Clubs and Leagues, so I'll be your contact for accreditation. We also have Aquila, who's the Football Development Manager, and he'll be manning the chat, so if you have any questions throughout, feel free to pop them in there. But yeah, we'll get started. So a little bit of housekeeping. If we could keep microphones off unless we're speaking. Cameras are great, but it's fine if you don't want to put yours on. If you have any questions, please post it in the chat. Like I said, Aquila will be happy to answer your questions. And we want your voice to be heard, but please be respectful and polite with your questions. And all slides and this session will be recorded, so it'll all go on the London FA website, so you can refer to it at a later date. Any kind of document that we mention will be emailed out to you afterwards, so don't worry about that. But I'm going to start the recording now. Oh, started. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought I'd start it for you, Neve.
No problem.
Thought it'd be easier.
So why does England Football Accreditation exist? Well, essentially, it's been created to create a vast club network, and so you can link with local clubs where necessary to build your provisions. That's the primary reason, but the bigger part of it is sort of raising the standards across the board, particularly in the safeguarding sector. And a lot of you are already doing that, so this is the perfect recognition for that, to show that you are meeting certain standards. It makes you more desirable to parents or adults that are wanting to join clubs. So that's the main focus of England Football Accreditation. But many of you will know it as Charter Standard. So in previous years, you had FA Charter Standard, which is now being moved over to England Football Accreditation. And what that means is some of you will already have FA Charter Standard. You will not lose your FA Charter Standard. That will be moved over to England Football Accreditation, and it will work in a tiered system, so 1 star, 2 star and 3. So if you're non-accredited right now, you have until June 2022 to apply through the club portal and meet all the criteria to become accredited. And then that is renewed every November following forward. If you are currently an accredited club, you have until November 2022 to meet all the criteria again, and you'll have a health check as normal in the November 2022 through the club portal. If you've met all the criteria, then it continues. However, if you're a 2 star or 3 star club, you'll be recognised with that star until 2023. And this is to give you the opportunity to rebuild the pathways after COVID, because we know that obviously that's had an impact on clubs. So what that means is if you're within 3 teams and you're 3 star of your pathway, it will be renewed. If you're within 2 teams of meeting your full pathway, it will be renewed for 2 star clubs. Cool. And then the criteria for clubs. So to be eligible, you have to be grassroots club, which is most of you are. That's essentially it. You have to play in a sanctioned league and have at least 1 team. So through affiliation, you'll meet quite a lot of the criteria, which is good. You'll have to have, like I said, minimum of 1 team, playing in a sanctioned competition. Your officials will have to have an enhanced DBS, and that depends on adult and youth. The club, if it's a youth club, will have to have a welfare officer, and all safeguarding committee members' courses must be completed for youth teams. And then through the clubs portal, which we're going to do a bit of a demo for later, you have to adopt various documents. So those will be like equality policy, diversity code, relevant safeguarding policies, and a club constitution. As well as that, you'll be asked to deliver a plan for your club, whether that's a season-long plan or a full development plan, and that will be uploaded into the same part of the club portal. Hopefully this will all become a bit clearer once we've shown you. Yep, and same sort of situation. So you're going to have for adults, you're going to have each team with a first aider. If the first aider is a player, there must be at least 2 first aiders on the team. For youth teams, each team is going to need a qualified coach that has a first aid and a safeguarding for children. And you've got to adhere to certain ratios, so 1:16. Off the pitch, like I said, we'll have to do the development plan, which again we'll cover later. You'll have to demonstrate some sort of governance within the club, so club meetings and how you convey that to your members. And then the process, like I said, will all go through the club's portal. So the club pathways, the 1, 2 and 3 stars. So 1 star, everyone can achieve 1 star. You just need 1 team, any age, any gender or a disability, and you qualify for 1 star. With 2 star, it gets a little bit more complicated. So you need to have an accredited pathway. So for males, you'll have to have a set of male pathways, which would be 8 teams in these age groups. And you'll need either 1 female team or 1 disability team. It's a little bit different for the female pathway. You need less teams within those age groups, and you need either 1 male or 1 disability. And if you are a disability focused club, you need teams within those age groups, as well as 1 female disability specific team, 1 male team or 1 female team. And 3 stars is full pathways for males and females, as well as having at least 1 disability team. So I'm going to hand over to Aquila, who's going to go through the club portal updates, which is going to be basically the one-stop shop for accreditation.
Thank you, Neve, and evening, everybody. So I'm just going to share my screen and just show you some of the updates for the club portal. I should be able to move the slide forward. So for any of you that aren't aware, the club portal is now the home for England Football Accreditation, or for you to remain England Football Accredited. It's also where you can see and evidence where you meet the criteria and what you need to do. And there's a handy checklist, which I'll show you in a second, which will allow you to understand where you're at. So we're going to have 2 demonstrations. One is going to be of an adult club and one is going to be of a youth club. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen. And if there are any issues and you can't see it, please let me know, but hopefully you can. So the first step is to log into clubs.thefa.com. And this essentially is where you'll see your club portal. And here you'll see 2 tabs. One is called Dashboard and one is called My Club, which I'll show you in a second. And on the club section, there are handy status updates, which tell you essentially what you need to do and if there is anything else that you need outstanding. For example, this would be incomplete if you weren't affiliated to us or to any other county, similar to if you weren't playing in any league, or if you haven't uploaded your bank account and club minutes. Across the tabs, there are 4 different opportunities for you to have a look at. So the first one is around officials. So this will tell you, for example, if you have any coaches which are needing a DBS to be updated, or those that have expired. And you can see here we've got an example of that club needing to update their DBSs. Alongside those, it will give you updates for club welfare officers and for safeguarding committee members course for those of you who sit on the committees. And again, this is one of the important parts, and this would tie into some of the work that Neve will mention a little bit later around youth teams needing a qualified coach and manager. So this is anyone that has a FA level 1 course or the new introduction to coaching course. And this is where, again, we can provide support where it's necessary if you need to get on any of those courses. So this will tell you, again, if you need any coaches to do these courses. It will tell you if they're incomplete or complete. Then moving on to the documents, again, this is where you'll be able to see which documents you need to adopt and upload, which is what I'll show you how to do in a second. So here there's a lot of policies that you need to adopt and make sure that you adopt in as part of your club. And this will then move forward to when you apply for England Football Accreditation. Similar one as well, which Neve mentioned around player pathways. So examples here, you'll see, for example, this club has a complete female player pathway, but doesn't have a complete player pathway for male and also for disability. And it does show you as well where the gaps are currently at your club or how you can become involved in increasing that provision. So I'm just going to move on to the My Club tab. So under documentation. So this is essentially where you'll be able to update and adopt your policies. So for example, here we can see that these documents are required for accreditation and they haven't been completed yet. So what we would do is we'd click on the adopt, and then essentially you would just have to download the document, which is, I've just gone off the screen. There we go. And then we just click view, and this will take you to where you can download the document and input your information. For example, you can add your clubs in here. Once you've downloaded and saved it, it will allow you to make sure that you're adopting the safeguarding for children policy or for any other policy that you may have. And once you've done that, you can then click adopt, and it will then appear as completed under here. And then essentially, once you've completed all of these, that's one tick done for accreditation. Again, you can upload any of your club policies here. For example, you can upload your club development plans, which is what we'll come on to a little bit later. Again, you can upload any accounts that you have and any other documents that you like to have. So for example, if you have board committee meetings, if you have an AGM, if you have any other club meetings that you feel are relevant, feel free to upload those, because this can basically be a step where you can house all the information in one place and anyone from the committee can access this as well. Moving on to an adult club. So for example, this is similar to a youth club, but it's slightly different because some of the areas you don't need for an adult team. For example, if we go on to the officials, the main one here is around making sure that adult teams have someone with a first aid qualification. This would normally be recommended to have 2, just in case someone is playing and they already have one. Or if you want to expand the knowledge of people who are doing the course, feel free to have as many people on it as you can. These courses are now online, and Neve will be sharing the links with you later on today. Essentially, once all this has been completed and you've adopted all the policies and you've had all of your statuses clicked as complete, this apply for accreditation box will continue, or will appear, I should say, and then you'll be able to apply for your accreditation. We'll get a notification, and then we'll be able to review that and either award you or go back to you with further amendments. But hopefully that gives you an overview of where we're at with accreditation. And even if you are an accredited club, for example, we can see here, this against is what you'll need to do between now and June, as when it's reviewed in November. Just make sure if you are accredited at the moment, make sure that you adopt those policies, and then we'll be able to see who's done that and be able to provide any support for anyone that does need that as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at the moment. I can't see any questions in the chat. Neve, if you want to get the presentation back up again, and then I will talk about the other areas. But yeah, hopefully that explains a little bit more as to how you navigate through the club portal. Again, if you have got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm more than happy to pick that up with you as well. And then the next part is, so I'll just navigate through this. Okay. So where are we? Okay. So essentially, I ran through how you can become accredited and what a new club would need to do to become accredited and what an existing club would need to do. So again, to become accredited, you have to make sure that you hit the eligibility and minimum criteria, which again will be evidenced in the club portal, as I showed you earlier. But again, it's just having a play with the portal, just getting used to it. Any questions, then feel free to let us know. Again, for existing clubs, making sure that you renew this every November, making sure that all your coaches have got DBS, if they've got safeguarding for children policy, make sure that's been adopted. Same for the qualifications for coaches, safeguarding and emergency first aid are all up to date as well. Because similar to the annual health check, which used to take place at the end of each year, this will essentially replace that. And this is now done all online. But throughout the year, if you need any support, then we're more than happy to help with that as well. Another interesting part is around club partnerships. So for example, if you're looking to expand your player pathways, for example, if you're an adult club and you're looking to work closely with a youth club, that also will allow you to work together to reach those player pathways, and also make sure that you then both have the same accreditation as well. For example, if you've got a 1-team adult club linking with a 1-team youth club, but they have got the pathways which are deemed necessary to be a 2-team or a 2-star or a 3-star, that would be really good. And essentially, we can show you how to do that as well. But there's some guidance on the Grassroots Hub as well, which explains how to do that. And I know a few of the clubs on the call with linked clubs as well. So again, it's just having a look. If you've got any questions, then feel free to let us know. But over to you, Neve, if I've missed anything at all.
No, I don't think you missed anything. It's just this is a great way to formalise that link. So a lot of the partnerships right now are sort of unofficial, or there's no tangible evidence that it's there. So this is just a great way of everyone in the FA network seeing that you're linked with another club. So moving on to the club development plans that you need to complete. So these are documents that basically are going to help you steer the way the club's going, and we use them as part of the evidence of the accreditation. So there's two types of plans you can do. There's the season plan, and that's if you're sort of going for a 1-star, you want to gain accreditation this year, you're not looking to work your way up to 2 or 3 just yet. And then there's a 2 or 3-star. So for those that are already 2 and 3-star or are striving to go towards that, and that's called the development plan. So a little bit of a breakdown of the content. So season plan is sort of why the club exists, a little bit about your philosophy, and then an actual season plan. So what you want to include in your season, what direction you're going. Are you looking to bring more teams in? Are you looking to add an adult provision, a female provision, whatever that may be? There's a little bit on budget. So previously, if you've done a 1-star accreditation process, we asked for a little bit on budget. So this will cover bits like marketing, sponsorship, and it will have some helpful tools in there. Then club operations and governance. So that will talk about your committee, how many people there are, what their roles are, how you can expand that, how you can use best practice, and then marketing of your club. So the FA is quite keen for everyone to get their club out there, get recognition they deserve, and this will have some helpful tools about how you want to market the club and how it can help growth. And same with the development plan. So it basically has all of that, but in a lot more detail. So identity, again, it will cover stuff like club philosophy. Governance will be more detailed about structure of your key officials, football development. So a bit like a season plan, but a lot more depth and a lot more about your growth. Finance is a lot more detailed as well. So it will ask for specific outgoings and sponsorship incomes, or whatever incomes you may get. Workforce and volunteers, so stuff around how you're going to grow your coach network, how you support them, how you're going to attract volunteers if you do use volunteers as a club, which most do. There's aspects about facility, so whether you own one, would like to own one, have one that you use and would like to develop it. Marketing and comms again, so this would probably be a bit more focused around social media use and how you can work with that. And then community, so everything sort of that a club offers. See someone sharing their screen.
Looks like they might have to request control again, Neve, and then you should be able to take that back.
Sure. And community is everything else. So, the fun things that you do as a club that keep people interested. I'm not sure. Can everyone see my slides at the moment?
No, can't see anything.
Okay. One moment, they're just coming back up.
Yes, can see it now.
Brilliant, thank you. So yeah, lastly, it was just the community part. So everything that you do that's additional to the football service that you provide. So the development document is lengthy. You can cut it down a fair bit if there's bits you don't want to, cover, or you only have one aspect of your facilities that you're looking to grow, or one provision you're looking to grow. But they are kind of yours to do what you want with, and we're here to help you with them. The season plan is a lot shorter, so if you're just looking to gain accreditation, it's definitely a good start and a good base for when you want to move forward. But now we'll go on to the benefits and rewards. So accreditation has a range of benefits that we can see. So You have access to template delivery plans, like we've just discussed, to support to deliver positive environments and experiences, and support to get officials and coaches qualified through access to education and training, access to funded and discounted kit and equipment, the support to be structured and governed effectively for the needs of your league or club and its members, to receive tailored support from the FA and the county FAs to get access to community or league club leaders, access to promotional resources and guidance and templates that help you effectively operate your club or league, the support to raise standards across the game, both on and off the pitch, and the support to offer pathway opportunities to male, female, and disability players across the network of leagues and clubs. But the more tangible stuff, the stuff that people like to get. So existing clubs in 21 and 22, depending on your star, you'll get a certain amount of footballs, a certain monetary value of kit and equipment, and you'll all get an England Football welcome pack, an England Football digital asset pack. So that'll be logos and whatnot to put on your websites and social medias, and you'll all get a digital certificate. As well as that, if you're a 3-star club, you get a plaque and a banner, as well as 2 match footballs. And for new clubs, the first thing you'll get is 10 footballs, England Football accredited pack to welcome you, a digital asset pack, and a digital certificate. Our support. So obviously accreditation is not completely easy, and if it was, everyone would have it. And so that's why we're here to help you. A lot of people are going to want to grow their provision to get the accreditation. They might need support with getting coaches qualified or bursaries and stuff like that. So I am going to do group sessions in the coming weeks and into the new year. And basically this form, which you'll be emailed later, will allow you to book sort of a time that works for you and a date, and then we can get you all into groups to discuss what your needs are. If not, you can always email me. As well as that, if you're looking to grow those small provisions, like start your female game, the Wildcats application window is open. Just plays a great way of getting adults started in. So if you're looking to do any of those, register your interest at all, please email Shannon Hyler@londonfa.com. And here's a few useful links that when I send you the slides, you'll be able to use. So at London FA website, we're currently really working on the clubs and leagues page. Want it to be a lot more effective for you. We've added a webinar section now, which will include the recording and slides of this. The boot room, that's going to be your go-to for any qualifications. So now that the first aid course is online, that will all go through the boot room as well as the level 1. The clubs portal, obviously that's going to be the home of accreditation, where you find all your needs and whatnot. England Football, that's going to have access to the documents. So if you ever need to find them again, they're on there and you can just download them at any time. If you want to look at a development one, see if you can push yourselves with a 2-star. Find Football. So I didn't mention this earlier, but in the clubs portal, there is a section that says Find Football, and you have to opt in. Obviously, we would like you to opt in, because when anyone uses the Find Football page on England Football, your club will then come up, and it will hopefully lead to a lot more growth. And then the Club and League Hub, so the League and Club Hub, that's the YouTube channel. So that will have loads of interesting podcasts about accreditation and the certain policies that they've introduced and what they mean and why they've been added. But yeah, that's all from us. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Any questions? That's good.
Thanks, Niam. Can we get the presentation on slides?
Yeah, so I'll be emailing them out to you shortly, but they'll also be on our webinars page under the clubs and leagues section of the website.
Great, thank you.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Yeah, we have in our club, we don't have qualified coaches at the moment. but they did the safeguarding course and also DBS. Would it be possible to apply for the accreditation?
Yeah, so at the moment there are spaces for the level 1 starting in January. So those could be done quite quickly. Is it an adult club or a youth club?
A youth club.
Yeah, so at the moment I'd recommend going on the boot room and looking at the availability of the courses. But if it's in terms of funding, then there is opportunities coming up, I believe.
Right, thank you.
No worries. Yep.
Hi there, this is Domi from Footsteps Football Academy. I have a quick question just about the level 2.
Sure.
I understand that the level 2 is being revamped this year. Is there a date for when the level 2 will be available to register for?
I can take that one if you want, Neve. Yeah, so sure, no worry. Thanks for that question. At the moment, we've been told that it'll be springtime for the level 2. So hopefully we're looking around April, May time, but that's all we know at the moment. But as soon as we hear any information, we'll definitely communicate it out to the clubs and we'll put it on our website. But if you have got any questions about the coaching kind of pathway or courses, then feel free to drop me an email. I'll put my email in the chat, so that's not a problem.
Perfect. Thanks, Atina.
No worries. No problem.
SC Dons, you've got your hand up.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. When I think I heard you say something about that you're gonna book meetings individually with people to get through the accreditation. Is that correct?
So what we're going to do is I'm going to put out a form that shows me your best availability, and then we're going to try and create group meetings where we can sort of bounce ideas off each other and whatnot and see what's needed and how I can help.
Okay, because on our whole game system it says that we already are, but there's obviously things that we still need to do. But I needed to answer questions before I can go through them, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to know when we can get that started, really.
Yeah, definitely. So you have until November 2022 to meet that if you're already an accredited club. But if you want to email me or book on that, then we can go through that all.
Also, last thing, sorry to hog up the here, but so when it comes to DBS checks, I remember years ago, this was years ago when I used to do coaching, that you'd have to do DBS checks through the FA. That it had to be done through the FA. Is that the exact same way that you have to do it now? And can you help us with that?
I can pick that one up if you want, Neve. Yeah, sure, not a problem. So in terms of DBSs now, in the past, it normally was done through the county. So everyone would have access to our county PIN, and that was where you'd do your DBS. But what has happened now is we have moved the DBS process online, so through the whole game system now. So each club has its own PIN, which they would use for online disclosures. But again, we can pick that up with you if you want. Feel free to drop your email in the chat, and we can look to see if that has been set up for you. But that's essentially the process moving forward. It's that clubs will do the DBS process themselves. Again, obviously, we can still verify if there is a welfare officer at the club that needs to have theirs verified. But hopefully now we've given the onus on to the club welfare officers at the clubs to verify DBSs to make it a little bit easier and quicker. Because as we know, sometimes the demands of volunteers like yourselves giving up your evenings, sometimes we're not the most accessible during the day. So if you can get someone at the club to do that for you, it takes away that pressure from you as well.
Okay, so I just go onto the whole game system and apply through there, basically. Yeah,
essentially. I can put some guidance. I'll put some guidance in the chat to explain how to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No worries.
Hello.
Hiya.
Yeah. I've got another question, please. I've got one coach. She has a DBS from her work, not London FA. Does it still valid for the football?
I can pick that one up if you want, Neve.
Yes, your DBS.
Yeah, no, sure, no worries. So in terms of DBSs, normally it will depend on what type of DBS they have, but we encourage everyone to have an FA in-date DBS.
It's got enhanced.
Yeah. But I mean, if you do have that situation, we can always refer it to FA Checks who deal with the DBSs. So more than happy if you want to send me through that individual separately, Hossein. You've got my email anyway, so feel free to drop me an email and I can pick that one offline for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Any more hands up?
I think we've got. I think we've got one down there, Neve. I think is it Aspire?
Yeah, go for it. Aspire.
Hiya. I was just wondering, we're trying to put on level ones. Are they still going to be a thing, or is it all going to go on to online? Because I know before it used to be like some sort of coaching and some setting up. So we wanted to set it up at our youth club over the summer, but is it going to happen?
So unfortunately not at the moment. Is all the courses have moved on to online. So in case anyone isn't aware, originally counties used to have to run their courses, so level ones, safeguarding, first aid, etc. But now the FA deliver those centrally and they're all online. But if there are any bespoke CPD opportunities that you want to do, again, we could pick that up. But in terms of the traditional level one, safeguarding, first aid, they're all done online now.
Okay, and are they still on a sort of class basis? So you have to be at a certain time, or because it's online, you can do it whenever you want?
So in terms of safeguarding and emergency aid, you can do those in your own time. So whenever you've got a spare moment. In terms of the level ones, they are done through a cohort. So there's around 500 people on each course, and they are normally last 4 weeks. But it's then the CPD afterwards, which lasts the whole 12 months as well. So in terms of the webinars, there are webinars that you have to attend, which are, I believe, at specific times of the course. But those will all be communicated to you when you book onto a course anyway.
Okay, sorry. And one last thing. This is all great, and I'm not being rude or anything, but there's no facilities. Like we're the London FA. You're the London FA. We've got all these different clubs around, all the Premier League, all this different thing. Why can we not get better facilities? Why do we have to struggle all the time with rubbish grass pitches and pay 3 times the price to train in the school? Can't we all get together and do something about that?
It's a fair point, and it's something that we're looking at the moment as an organisation. We've got our local football facility plans, and our head of football development is looking to fast track some of those, just because of the growth of football across London. We're looking to improve those facilities. We're looking to improve those grass pitches, because as I completely sympathise with you, if it's raining out there, you kind of dread the thought of having to turn up on Sunday and it's a waterlogged pitch. And eventually we want to get to a position where there are a lot of good pitches, so there isn't the need to postpone games or to call them off. So that's definitely something that we're looking to do. But if you have got any feedback around that, I'm more than happy to again pick this up offline and introduce you to our head of football development as well. If you've got any ideas around, facilities which need improving, or if they're a part of the local football facility plan as well, I'm more than happy to do that.
Get ready.
No, that's fine. That's not a problem. More than happy to help.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's not a problem.
No worries. Anyone else? Feel free to just jump in. Any questions around the club portal? Because it's all new, this process now. Well, you must have done a good job explaining.
I hope so.
Just got a quick question.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good.
So just been notified, one of our players has got a FA, I think it's FA level 1 for many years ago. Is that different to the FA level 1 on the boot room website? Does it expire, or is it still valid, or I'm not really sure?
No, it's still the same. I think what we just encourage that coach to make sure that he's got his safeguarding and emergency aid up to date as well. But if you do have an existing level 1, that's great. But it's making sure that you have those safeguarding and emergency aid, and your DBS is up to date as well. But yeah, existing qualifications are fine.
Do you need to have that to be accredited a club?
Yes,
Yes.
if you're a youth club, you need each team to have a qualified coach. So minimum of a level 1 with the safeguarding children and football first aid. So your particular person, they might have their level 1, but their first aid and their safeguarding would have expired. So unless they may have renewed them, but if not, they need to do that.
What about for an adult club?
So for an adult club, it's not required, but a first aid is required. Minimum of 1 person with a first aid per team. And if it's a player, then there needs to be at least 2 players with a first aid.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. That's all. Okay, cool. So no more questions. So I will email that all out to you, hopefully tomorrow. And if you have any questions or want to book onto the group sessions, then all of that information will be included. But we're really looking forward to you guys having a look at the club portal, seeing who puts their applications in. Any questions, feel free to email. Cool. Thanks for coming, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.